What's up, everyone? I am here with my partner in crime, Lana Bear, and today we're gonna try something new. So normally most of my videos have footage that I've taken of the cars that I'm talking about, but today something has been on my mind and we're gonna try something. So we have a series on this channel called Hot Talk. Today it's gonna be Car Talk, and we're gonna talk about the Lotus Emira and the Evora GT that preceded it. So I will openly admit that I liked the first Evora when it came out a little bit, but I kind of passed on it and didn't really give it another thought until I saw the Emira, and all of a sudden I noticed that the Evora GT had evolved into something that, in my opinion, is actually quite attractive. So I went on a test drive during Car Week of the Emira, and honestly, it's just an objectively beautiful car. It was such an enjoyable thing to drive, and Lotus personally won me over with this car to the point that I seriously thought about buying one. Now, usually I don't buy new cars. I wait for them to depreciate, and that's where I think this idea popped into my head, because I'm part of a lot of Lotus Emira groups on Facebook, and people have been posting photos of their Evora GTs next to the new Emiras when they go to check them out. And it might just be me, but when I look at these photos side by side, I actually personally prefer the looks of the Evora. And that's not to say that I think the Evora is the better looking car overall. I think the Evora has some angles that look nice and some angles that are kind of awkward, especially as you get around kind of the rear 3/4 view. But I was shocked that this car that I really didn't even give a second look, all of a sudden kind of piqued my interest as something that I actually kind of want to explore, that I would be open to owning. And the best part about it is these cars are available right now. So there's an element of this that I think is kind of clouding my judgment, and it's sitting right on my lap. The Evora can actually be had in a 2+2 configuration, and the Emira is a 2-seater only. And if I want to drive around with my entire family, my wife and my daughter here, all of a sudden a 2+2 becomes very attractive. So I'm actually really curious what enthusiasts out there, what Lotus owners, what people who are interested in the Emira, or people who own an Evora might actually think about what I'm saying here. Am I crazy to think that for a car that I would actually purchase, I might prefer to go Evora over the Emira? And there's a number of things that factor into this, and I've actually done a lot of kind of internet research. I haven't actually got butt behind a wheel of an Evora GT yet, but it's kind of on my to-do list. The Evora GT is kind of the peak evolution of the Evora that came out before it, and that kind of happens with all cars. The first base model kind of gets refined over the years, and then special editions come out, and the car gets better and better until sort of it peaks right before the next generation. I personally have a preference for those kind of cars, and in this case especially, I really like the Evora GT, whereas I don't think I really like the first Evora much at all. The looks are very feminine, for lack of a better word, whereas the Evora GT has really gotten much more aggressive. It feels very special with the carbon fiber bucket seats, and if you're able to secure the carbon fiber body panels, I just think it's a very cool kind of pinnacle version of that car. And my fear, if you could call it that, is that the first generation Emira is going to be kind of like the first generation Evora, whereas time marches on and you see a lot more of these on the road, and then the next iteration comes out, the special edition, the base one is gonna kind of get forgotten and everyone's gonna lust after the new thing. Whereas with the Evora GT, they've already made all that they're gonna make. And that's a piece of the puzzle too, is I feel like it's gonna be unique and special. I actually don't recall the last time I saw one, although maybe I just wasn't paying attention. I have a feeling we're gonna see Emiras everywhere, and I definitely personally just like having unique, special things. So I don't know, I'm really kind of on the fence on this. I will say, the thing that really drew me in about the Emira when I drove it was its driving dynamics, more than anything else. All right, let's get it in a second. Give ourselves just a touch of room. Hard on the brakes. Very nice. Just a really enjoyable sports car. It looks the part. I would have one of these. I absolutely would have one of these. I am very impressed by this. You're not gonna win a drag race, I don't think. But if you like driving, this is an enjoyable car to drive. There wasn't a single thing that stood out. If you watch my review, I acknowledge it's not the fastest car, but it's so enjoyable to drive. And I've actually heard from people that have tried both that the Evora is kind of like 100% version of that car. It's actually more raw, more enjoyable to drive, more connected to the road, better feedback than an Emira that would be at, let's say, 90%, but you get the kind of updated modern looks that everyone loves and the better trim in the interior. The thing that sold me on the Emira though was the driving. So if you tell me you can crank that up in a car that's more rare, that I actually think looks kind of better in some ways, some respects from certain angles, and is gonna be kind of limited and unique, there's a lot of appeal to that for me. So I might be alone on an island on this, but I just wanted to throw this out into the world and see if there's anyone that kind of thinks like me along the same lines. You know, I'm not dead set on getting an Evora GT right now, like I have to go do it, but I am definitely open to test driving one and then just kind of keeping an eye on the classifieds if there's a good deal, because I really have a feeling that as people buy and appreciate the Emira, they're actually going to look at the rest of the lineup, and you're going to be able to get Emiras very easily. But I think at some point the Evora GTs are going to be kind of valued for what they are and what went unappreciated the first go around. So that and the ability to take my daughter, pretty fantastic, but I'd really love to hear from you. What do you think? Of course, I would get the manual. That is a big thing. The manual was so good, and that's really what it's about for me. Nothing against an automatic if that's what you want to do, but for me, it's like the bolt action on a precision rifle, that gearbox, and it's something special. It's something that I haven't seen in any other car, including this one that I'm in, which is a Porsche 996 4S Cabriolet. I even thought about trading in briefly in my head mentally. I did the exercise, my McLaren 12C to get an Evora GT, because I feel like it's more enjoyable for 90% of the type of driving that I would do, and I could take this little one around. So that's all I've got. Please let me know in the comments. Really, this video is about hearing from you out there, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Appreciate you, and we will see you at the next one soon.